What is up, everybody? This is Keith. Go back at a guy 231 across the DFS industry. This is going to be a quick breakdown of what day is it? Wednesdays. 3-game slate. Back to 3 games. If you can't tell my voice, I'm a little under the weather, so apologies. Sucking on cough drops and trying to get enough voice to get through this video. So we're just going to get right into it. Just a quick reminder: like, subscribe, comment. All really does help. PrizePicks only has the first game up. I will post to my Twitter feed and to the comments here when I get a play. Nothing super jumped out at me. Maybe some of the Russia lines. I do think Russia is the team I want to target here, and we're going to get right into that. So let's go ahead. Let me pull up the screen share, and let's just jump right into it. So the first game at 9 Eastern is Finland versus Russia. Russia is a -154 favorite. The total at the game is still kind of on the low side. All right, it's like 2.25, 2 goals. So goals are at a premium. Russia struggled mightily versus Belgium. This is a home game, so I do like it. Cover of the article or cover of the video is Golovin from Monaco. He should take almost all their set pieces. Now Marianchuk did take a corner when he came in, but we know from a longer history that Golovin is the main playmaker. He's actually just awesome. Even when he plays for Monaco, like, he's always struggled with injury and struggled for fitness, but when he's on the pitch, especially in a favored matchup, it was tough versus Belgium. He still got 7 crosses, but when Russia should be on the front foot and attacking, they need to win this game. I expect Golovin to be the guy they go to for all the creativity, and I really, really love him. I think one of the biggest decisions on the site, I figured Jumba will be very, very popular. Jumba is a massive, massive human being. He is the target of all their set pieces. He's incredibly prolific scorer, not only for Russia, but in the Russian league for, I think it's Zenit. Takes their PKs. If you just watch the game, he's a mammoth of a human being. He's only 7,200. I think that's a fairly decent discount. He has goal dependent. That's the only thing. I think if you want to go from a cash perspective, Marianchuk might be the better play. Assuming this is the lineup, right? Marianchuk didn't start the first game. He is replacing, I'm blanking now, who's injured. But I do think that Marianchuk could start. He plays at Atalanta, very, very dynamic player. Maybe some set pieces. He's a little more expensive than Jumba, but gives you some set pieces as well as some more open play value. Zabna, I'm interested in as a value play. He's only at 3,700. Really good player for Spartak Moscow. Again, I just think Russia's going to be controlling possession here. It's going to have a ton of opportunities. We're going to see Finland once again play on the counter, sit deep, just look for the opportunities, and take advantage of it. Denmark just absolutely was all over them. I think that realistically, Finland got very lucky, with the Eriksson stoppage and the decision subsequently to play when Denmark obviously wasn't ready to. But look, Finland was defending before the Eriksson incident, and then they were, defending afterwards as well. So I do think they're going to sit deep. Mario Fernandez is the more attacking of the 2 fullbacks. Karaviev, this is not his natural position. He normally plays on the right. So I would be Mario Fernandez over him. Ozgov, Baranov, they're defensive midfielders. I think on the Finland side, and that's Russia. I think that covers it. So again, Golovin, your core play. And then I like Jumba, Marianchuk, the next best. Sabnin for a value. For Finland, I'm not going to be targeting anybody from them offensively. If you want to go GPP, Pookie Party, or I'm not even going to try to say his name. He scored last game. Go for it. Robin Lod is there. I never even know if I'm saying that right, by the way. It just sounds cool. Lod. But they should be on their set pieces. Urinen was their best player last game. Had a couple of crosses. He's a cheap fullback, so you could do worse. But their best on-field player. Their best player was Lucas Hadraki, who I spent time at nauseum only to realize that the game after I recorded was in Russia. So I played Shunin versus Belgium and lost the slate because of it. But Hadraki, really, really top goal contender. Should be busy here again. So, he's one of the cheapest goalies on the sites. I think he'll be very popular as a result. All right. That's that game. Let's go to Turkey versus Wales. This is a square game. Turkey is a slight favorite, plus 145. Another low total. Total, once again, on the under. So it's around 2 goals. Yeah, right about 2. Turkey was so bad versus Italy. They can only get better. I think a lot of people were a little bit let down by how bad Turkey was. So I do expect a response here and some lineup changes. So the lineup change that 2 of which are Kankavicki coming into the lineup. I was hoping he'd be like 3,500. He's a good player in Turkey. But 6,600, he'd just be like GPP only and like a Turkey stack. Under should take some sets as well as Kalanoglu. Once again, I was hoping under would be cheap, the Leicester City guy, but he's like 7,300. It's tough. I think if you're gonna make a play here, it's Cal. He's like 80. What is he? 8,500. Should take a majority of the set pieces. He's the focal point of their offense. All of the creativity should be going through him now. I say that and under will be involved, but Cal is the best player. Trying to link up with Yilmaz and under. So all these guys should be attacking a decent amount. I do think that there's a big talent disparity between Turkey and Wales, and I really do expect a response from Turkey. I have Zelic as a core play as defense. He's just a little too good to be sub 4K. He's not like a guy that's going to give you 10 crosses, but should be able to get forward. At 3,800, he's still a little too cheap. If he plays for Lille and Ligue 1, has a pretty big price tag on him. A lot of big teams coming after him, so I do think he makes sense. If you have a little bit more money, Marist has a little bit more crossing, but I don't think you see a huge difference. All right, I think that covers Turkey. For Wales, Daniel James took all their set pieces. I would assume that he's going to continue to do so unless you see David Brooks or Harry Wilson in. Those two could take some. But yeah, Wales just didn't look that great versus Switzerland from a DFS perspective. Ben Davies is pretty cheap, 4,000 for a fullback. I made a joke at halftime if he had actually crossed the pitch, and then second half, of course, he gets 3 crosses. So I think you could do worse than Ben Davies. I don't think this is a slate they're going to pay up at defense. So looking for 2 cheaper defenders that are wide, fullbacks, I think that makes a lot of sense. So 4,000 for Davies. He does tackle a little bit. Connor Roberts is more attacking the 2. Obviously. If you do think Wales wins this game, there's a really good chance that it'll be through Gareth Bale. He is their best player, forward eligible. This just shows you how much I was planning to play Bale. I don't even look at his price. 8,000 is actually a very decent deal, and I might have to think about that more, especially with how bad Turkey did look. But Gareth Bale, look, man, I think in so many ways he's playing for a lot here if he wants to continue playing football professionally. Like, in a top flight and not go to China. Maybe he does. But he was very flat first game. So he typically plays incredibly well for Wales. I saw a lot of sharps run him the first game. So, it might be one of those things that when people get off of a guy, that's the time to get on it. So I think he's an elite GPP play. The more I'm talking about it, I'm actually talking myself into him being a decent cash play here too. Kiefer Moore, GPP for goals is fine. Aaron Ramsey, good playmaker, but let's just see his price. 5,500. You could do worse, but I haven't landed there for a midfield spot, but I think it's doubt viable. I would just find the money and pay up for James to get the set pieces. Daniel James had like 10 DK versus Switzerland without having the more of the ball. This should be a little bit more square. So, all right. I think the covers Turkey versus Wales. Let's jump to Italy versus Switzerland. Italy, you could have easily said, was the most impressive team of the first games. Lorenzo Insigne is your lock core play here. He took a majority of the set pieces, a little bit on both sides. He's just phenomenal. He had the most like Lorenzo Insigne goal possible on the break, curled it into the far post. Like when I think of Insigne scoring goals, that's the goal I think of, and it was just like a perfect example of it. I think a lot of people may face Ciro Immobile. I faded him the first match. It worked out awesome. Lost handsomely on that showdown. I think I'm going to fade him here. I think Switzerland's a pretty good team. I'm just weirdly not all that interested in Italy at their inflated prices. Insigne, yes, I want him. I will probably have him in a majority of GPP lineups too. I just think he's that good and that active. But this is a good midfield for Switzerland. People give Xhaka crap, but he and Zachary, they can defend, especially with Shara, Kanji, Elevati. Like they have some good players in Switzerland. This is not going to be a walk in the park for Italy. There might be a lot of passing, but Immobile may have a couple of chances and he's going to have to convert. But I do think that Immobile and how he does may decide the slate. A lot of people are going to go to him and just play Insigne and Immobile as their 2 forwards and call it a day. If you've been watching this the whole tournament, I normally fade the goal scorers. I don't do it with Ronaldo. I don't do it with Messi. Well, Messi, that's a bad example. Messi just does everything. But, Ronaldo, I don't know. Ronaldo does everything too. Like those two are like exceptions, right? Like I once heard Luis Pacheco say, you know, one rule he made when he started DFS was, I'm not going to fade Ronaldo. I'm not going to fade Messi. Everything else is fair game. So Mobley, I think, is fadeable. Berardi, probably just a little too expensive. He did take one corner, but obviously he's a showdown play. But main slate, probably a little too expensive. I do think for main, the other player I am interested in here is Nico Barella. He's just so active, even for Inter Milan, just always active. I think the fullback's got a little bit expensive. Jorginho for a PK, sure. But yeah, I think Barella is interesting. Locatelli didn't take any corners, so I'm kind of off of him. Spinazzola was really, really good as fullback, but he's really expensive, 6,200. I just don't think he's worth 6,200. I could be wrong, but again, maybe showdown, classic, not so much. Di Lorenzo, whatever. He just doesn't do much for me. And then you have your center backs. Donnarumma probably could easily be a pay-up goalie. I don't know. As of now, I think I'm gonna pay down at goalie, but we'll see. We'll see how that's already rounds out. All right, Switzerland side, really tough to play any of these guys outside of showdown just because Italy is so ball possession dominant. Shaqiri and Rodriguez split sets. Rodriguez in a bubble on this slate would be the best defender play, but again, you have to, despite him being a good play, being a core play last slate, you have to think if Switzerland doesn't have the ball, how many opportunities is Ricardo going to get forward, to get corners, all those things. At that point, I kind of think he's overpriced. He does take PKs, but yeah, I'm just mostly going to fade Switzerland here outside of GPP. And Babu gets forward. But yeah, that's the cash place. All right. Let's just quickly look over at DraftKings for our core. Then my voice is literally almost done, so I'll be out of here. And Insigne, Golovin, Shelik, again, the big thing here is going to be a lot of people are going to play Immobile 9,300. You still have plenty of salary left to do it. So if you think that that's the case, you love Italy here, you think they're going to win 2 or 3-0, like go for it. I don't think it's a bad play. I just think that there is a lot of leverage. Sure, Immobile is a goal scorer. To get like the 6 shots, 2 shots on goal, that's a little bit high for him. A lot of these Italy games, you see like 3-4 shots. 6 shots is a lot. So, yeah, I think I could be change my mind, but I do think that it's worth strongly considering the fade there. But that being said, you know, I guess my thought is if I'm going to play like a goal dependent guy, you know, at that point, why don't I just save, you know, 1,800 for Zumba, especially maybe lower ownership. That's kind of the way I go. Or for floor, I really do think that Moranchuk or Gareth Bale makes a lot of sense for your second forward for a more floor-driven or more dynamic look than Immobile. All right, that'll do it. Thank you all for bearing with me and the voice. Hopefully tomorrow I hydrated and feel ready. I'll be back one way or another, even if it's like me trying to like amplify my voice. I will be back. We are doing this every single day during Euros. Loving every minute of it. Hope you all are too. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Keith. See you.